Okay, now moving forward to another type of another way of classifying restriction endonuclease, and this is on the basis of their action. That means a type of cuts they are producing. So the restriction enzymes or restriction endonuclease are proteins. Of course, all enzymes are proteins, nothing very new here. These proteins cut the DNA at or close to the specific recognition site that you already know, that type 2 is cutting within the recognition sites, type 1 is cutting 1000 base pairs away from the recognition site, type 3 25 base pairs, and type 4 20 base pairs. So that is the characteristics of restriction enzyme. But on the basis of the way of cutting, that these two types of restriction enzymes can exist that differ in the way they cut the target DNA, how they are actually acting, what is the way they are, how they are cutting, in what fashion they are cutting. First are the blunt end cutters, the straight cutters. These enzymes cut both the strands of the target DNA at the same spot, creating blunt ends. Okay, and understand this, I'll be showing you the picture. Blunt end cutters and then the sticky end cutters. These enzymes cut both strands of the target DNA at different spots, creating 3' or 5' overhangs of 1 to 4 nucleotides. So that is why they are called as sticky ends, because they do not cut it straight but cut in a staggered way, that I have already told you in the examples. We'll get back to those examples once again. Okay, see here, blunt end and sticky end. This is the sequence. You can see the small nucleotide sequence is being written over here. Now here, when digested using the restriction endonuclease, they will produce this kind of ends, staggered ends. See, red portion is being cut from this side and this side, blue portion is cut from this side and this side. So it will produce protruding ends. These are protruding sticky ends. See, staggered, they are not straight, they are zigzag kind of cutting. So these we called as sticky ends. Okay, sticky ends, 5' or 3' overhangs that allow DNA to anneal even though if it is not covalently bound. If there is no covalent bounding between two strands of which we want to stick, then if they have complementary strands present, complementary sticky portions present, they will automatically stick. Okay, so this is very important thing, that sticky ends play an important role in gene cloning because they allow this fusion of two DNA strands very easily. The second kind of cut here was the blunt end cutters. Blunt end cutters, see here the example of blunt end cutters. Here what happens? Here see, the cut is produced in a straight manner. So the ends which are produced are straight, so they do not have protruding ends hanging. So although they can also be joined, they have their own importance in gene cloning. I'm not saying that they are not used in gene cloning or rDNA technology, but easier application can be obtained using sticky ends cutters, whereas blunt end cutters have their own importance that I'll discuss further. But both these types are important in the recombinant DNA technology. It is not like that only sticky ends will be used and blunt end is useless. Both have their own importance. I will tell you in the subsequent parts. Let's understand something more about the sticky ends. See here, what I have shown in this diagram. This is a DNA backbone, one DNA, and this is DNA insert. DNA insert, I told you, the DNA of interest which we want to be incorporated into the host DNA. So what we have done, actually we have used the same restriction enzyme. This I told you when I was teaching you during the first session, first period, that the same restriction enzyme is used to cut the host DNA and the DNA insert. So when they are cut using the same restriction enzyme, one restriction enzyme will cut at a particular site only, so they will produce complementary ends. So we have used one restriction enzyme which cuts and produces a nick of a hanging sticky end of AATT and C. See here. Also, the same restriction enzyme is used to cut the DNA backbone of the host, so it also produced the end having AATT and C. So C is already joined with G here and C is already joined with G here. But these four which are unjoined will automatically complementary bind to each other and will be ligated. This is a term, ligation, will be ligated by complementary base pairing. We will be using DNA ligase here again. Okay, that is another tool which I'll be discussing after we finish off today with restriction enzymes. So here what happens, adenine comes in, they roll over each other, and then adenine and thymine, first adenine with this first thymine, second adenine with second thymine, this first thymine from this side, third base from here with the second base here. So what we ultimately we will get a recombinant DNA here having complementary base pairing. Can you see the change in the color? Here the blue portion is coming from the DNA insert and the red portion is the host DNA. So we have incorporated our gene of interest into the host DNA. So this is recombinant DNA which we have created. Interesting? Okay, moving forward. Again, one more example. Let us now understand about EcoR1, most commonly used, because they are also producing sticky ends. How they are working? I told you to remember this sequence, GAATTC. EcoR1 is acting in between G and A, and the sequence they recognize is the sequence which they recognize is GAATTC, and the nick is produced in between G and A. So these two strands, these two DNA have been taken. One is the host DNA and another is the gene of interest. We need to incorporate this gene of interest into this host or the vector also. So vector is the one which is carrying our gene of interest to the host. So how it will carry, or we can say the plasmid DNA. So this is the portion of the plasmid DNA and this is the gene of interest. So what we have done, we have used the EcoR1. EcoR1 will recognize this particular site in the vector DNA also, and this particular site will be recognized in the gene of interest also. See, both are the sequence same, GAATTC, GAATTC. So what will happen here, this EcoR1 will produce nicks here also in between G and C, G and A, and here also in between G and A. In the vector or plasmid DNA also in between G and A, in between G and A. So what will happen, such kind of staggered sticky end will be produced. Now if we bring them together and join them, this thymine will complementary base pair will be A, and this thymine will be complementary base paired with this A. Similarly, these two adenines will be paired up with the thymine, and the recombinant DNA will be produced having one portion yellow and the other portion colored as green. Okay, I think it will be clear now that how we produce a recombinant DNA. Now let us observe the same examples again.